and I'm gonna do a talk of Toson. Thomas, and I'm not answering.
When mothers send their beloved children into exile without knowing if they will ever see them again, there must be something wrong in Tibet. Even if the Chinese firmly insist that they have brought freedom and prosperity to this country. Lhasa, the capital of Tibet, in December 1999. For 40 years, the Potala Palace has been waiting for the Dalai Lama's return. The religious leader was one of the first to flee from the bloody Chinese invasion in 1959. Since then, more than 100,000 Tibetans have followed him over the Himalayas into exile in India. Today, many refugees are children. Impoverished parents cannot afford school fees. The tuition is too high. It is an effective tactic by the Chinese to break the people's resistance. A people without education is easier to rule, and a child without a future cannot carry on its ancient culture. In order to prevent the Tibetan culture from fading, His Holiness and his sister have created an educational system that allows Tibetans to study in India. More than 400 children cross the Himalayas each year in the hope of receiving a better education in exile.
Tani ngazo meyor bazi ki pasung ani buo ma boji da ani mission na kachi chitene boni choyong war da nga khongzong la song khongzong la ro bazi chine ne choyong lai ani khongzong la da ji langguan ni parchil me ju da de zhe ge che de ni jiam ji ji da chun ji ji xie de ji se
alles da bu ne choyong ne Doctor City, so we're who get them back to
I'm Pema, I'm Tibetan, and I'm going to the pass on the border between Nepal and Tibet to help my friend. He brings children and some other adults from Tibet, and it is very dangerous because of the police. So we made an appointment where we're going to meet. I know these places because I came from Tibet 6 years ago by walking for 22 days, so that's why I'm going.
We accompany Pema on his search for his friend and the children. On the third day of our ascent, we meet a group of Drakpas, Tibetan nomadic traders.
네 공망보래
오다 거리 두고서는 나도 남들 못 사게 되나 고도가 남사 카 수수체 카다 딜라 룽체 버체네 티니 룽이 티니 우르스게 디 잡니나 랑갑티 가마었다 디마요 하마고 오다 티니 티니 툼니 되네 디 가한테 찔라티니 미마부시 내가 야래
I don't wish any of those children get a frozen hand or foot, and not even a finger. So I had to go quickly and I helped him.
Pema burns the colorful prayer flags in the fire. May the wind carry them to Tibet so that the refugees can find their way through the snow and the fog. The higher we get, the thinner the air. The thinner the air, the more difficult it is to go even higher.
Nga chuta hagani tigi sara ta kangasango de ta Nepali sa thotona ta sigata lamba hagani ta jong ne mara ta chuta kangasango de ta Nepali sa thotona ta sigata lamba hagani ta jong ne mara ta chuta karas kita ta ngazuna ngaz ta nyelamina ra ta muta ni ta jimara ta siga garga totinga ta na yo thontona chapale kita ngaz orga ita chuna ta ta chusiga chipuda.
They arrive earlier than we expected. Fortunately, none of the refugees have frostbite, but they are exhausted, half-starved, and they urgently need water. When we meet them just below the pass, they have already been walking for 10 days. Every year, some children are left behind in the snow, perishing from exhaustion and the cold. Often, frostbite takes its toll and limbs have to be amputated. The price Tibet's children have to pay is high. Hima's friend, the guide, brought the group safely through the snow, although he became seriously ill on the way. He asks us not to reveal his face. If recognized, he would not be able to return to Tibet.
You okay? Festival. Okay? Pema. Oh, Jack. Kaldi Jackson. Chakado.
답배 보면 연세우 쉬우지 착수 가르제가 어디서 다 소파 작살도 세일라 작으면 와 작은 하나 조조 랍고로 아니 갈래지고 저는 다 nombates ya 짝 답배 다다 견디냐 지우차도 지 땅 오늘 장에 여름 무식이 또 몸보치고로 소 아니 아 맞잖아요
왜 우와 무조 아마타 우와 우와 대신에 돈 가서 우와 우와 아면 언니 야고제때 미미 장마마다 칼리니 여보지 아니 미미게 미미 시시마다 와거야 머집다 머주돈 랍스게서 뭐 개정 랍주야고지다 안에도 랍주야고지다 안에도 카비 스도와래 랑가네 추유도 잡아야 갈라시라 감주 이내라 시야디 공아주게다 안데 기미시미여서 시김쇼신 다 시문도
그냥 당철 어디 소위로 봐만 보 마시대 지송스 부라나 아 근데 잔다 속이 지송 다 샤모데즈 콘 아니 제망아주 Dharamsala 저거라 가 동바스타다 오 페냐 지우차다
To make it past the Nepalese military checkpoints, we have to walk at night. It would be too risky to use any lights on the camera. So we are filming with a little infrared camera that allows the cameraman to see everything clearly. But for the refugees, it is night.
इधर तो कंपनी नहीं है बोलते मनी नहीं है
We knock on the door of a Sherpa's hut. After a 16-hour march, the children need something to eat. We have already exhausted all of our supplies.
If we want to stay here, we can stay.
나른가 기송 대신에 람반디 자도 세치나 인스 다들 라마 르른가 게 송동글라 도무디다 라산에 주칸라테 코레시 몰렌젤리 다 나른가 치고 돈도세네 면스노게 샤진디 계속 그저 마음하긴들라이나 저기 이나 그저 긴들라 저롱부 전자트네 몰 다른 게 다신데 그 연대치글라멜 다른 운동게 다른 르츠누르 지성대누 성될 때 됐다나 지마 올라라 방키즈 메킨돌인데 저 랑가 흔나 해장구지 가나메는데 로카게 쇼쇼 쿠나라트가 야라 자인디 티켓가 용들이
The Sherpa's hut is too small for all the refugees to stay overnight, so the Sherpa and Pema take the children to a nearby monastery. It is located near a police station, but some of the monks are Tibetans. We hope that they won't betray us.
그쇼라 그쇼
그셔라 그셔로
You must pretend this is nothing, okay?
They can take the children. 봐봐.
그렇지. 맞아. 군주. 부서 마시면.
네. 군주.
라.
군주 가리요.
군주.
네. 깜발리 기와리.
까말리 주세요래.
뭔돌래? 아, 부서 아우니야. 어이. 자꾸 자꾸 이제.
저 군주가 we need something.
아우 부서디야. 네.
알았어. 나와 줄게.
After almost 2 weeks, the first night in a real bed.
Do re mi fa sol la si do re mo tuo yin yin ne chi jo churun ja shimbe der so chi jo nga do chen kun ba la da nga ja ga tan so nga ba la da nga ji ma to yin go ma ri san ne ba la da nga Java June Travis Sera Company, Sera Company, Jaya Travis, the Chime, Tawa Youngsa, and you.
prayers seem to have been received. The children have been on their journey for 18 days now. Their guide is still very ill, and everyone is exhausted. It is Easter Sunday, and we decide to charter a small plane at the airport at Lugla. It is usually impossible for a refugee to afford such a plane ticket. What we are doing here is completely illegal, but we try to act as natural as possible. Fortunately, no one asks any questions. One last glance at the mountains they have crossed. From now on, the highest mountains in the world will separate these children from their parents, who had to stay in Tibet. For adults, it is nearly impossible to start a new life in an overpopulated nation like India.
Ngachuta hagani tigi sara ta kangasan go de ta Nepali sa thotona ta shi ta lamba hagani ta zon ta kotna ta mozan sa zo yonara ta tiga chuna na oli ta sang chof ti da nar chinjuras. Only when they have reached the reception center, a Tibetan refugee camp, will they finally be safe. Here they get a refugee pass, which allows them to continue their journey to Dharamsala in northern India. The children are mostly interested in the photos. After 3 days and 3 nights, the group finally arrives in Dharamsala, where the Dalai Lama welcomes and blesses the children.
Of course, you see, children, especially those younger ones, live from mother and remain separately. It's very sad. Of course, very sad. But then the parents themselves decide to send out, because inside Tibet, their life eventually spoil easily. Sure. In the meantime, it is our moral responsibility to look after them, and especially those young children, provide them education and also facility as much as we can.
The Tibetan children's village in Dharamsala. The children have finally arrived where their parents intended. Here they will grow up and go to school. Chetsen Pema, the youngest sister of the Dalai Lama, has dedicated her whole life to the children of Tibet. The Tibetans lovingly call her the Mother. Almost 12,000 children are growing up in 11 different Tibetan children villages under her protection today.
When you think of a mother who sends her, 5-year-old or 6-year-old, far away, and also thinking she will never see that child, for a long time or not at all. Of course, it's not easy. It's a sacrifice, but sacrifice of love, I think. It's not rejection on the part of the parents to send their children. So it doesn't mean that they don't love their children. I think it's because they love their children too much that they want the best thing for their children.
The guide will go back to Tibet to bring over a new group of children. In order to protect him from the Chinese police, we never showed his face on camera. Before he leaves, he takes some pictures. He will take the photos to Tibet so that he can show the parents that their beloved ones made it safely into Indian exile.
Jami la kata sindron ro ta jami gira ta tina la ka ti gombang ti na ne kochar ti ta gama zo ti na ta la ka she na langar she na simchin ma simchin zir tina nga ranga tondo sa di jami tondo ma she ti na ra nyal ji zira ti ranga giuk
Thank you.